Hey, welcome back to another episode of Simple Truth Television. Today is now October 6th, 2020. I gave out a couple of picks on Patreon. I want to discuss the games that I gave out as picks and just to show you guys the rituals behind those games. It's the same thing. So just want to wait for a few more people to come in before we get started. I was looking at the date numerology for the day. Today is October 6th, 6, a day with 56 numerology. You guys know that Black Lives Matter sums to 56 and 106. So, today, Tuesday, I expect some Black Lives Matter propaganda in the news today. Hopefully, nobody else gets choked or, killed by the police or harassed by the police. But we're definitely gonna hear about the Black Lives Matter movement in the headlines on October 6th, David 56 numerology. So let's see what happens with that. But on Patreon, we gave out two picks today. You know, during the month of September, that was like that has to be like the worst month that I ever had. The cold in sports, every game was like, we'll hit today, then tomorrow we'll miss, and then the next day we'll miss, and then the next day we hit. I was just so inconsistent during the month of September. But this is a new month, right? It's been 5 days already passed, and this is like the third time that we hit a parlay this month. So I'm just like, man, I think it's sometimes it's like we go through these bumps. What I've noticed, and I've mentioned this before, whenever we get a pick wrong on Patreon, so many people like to disrespect and troll the work. But then when we have success, nobody says anything, nobody sends tips, nobody donates. And I'm like, you guys know how much it's worth to get a sports pick correct? That these picks, a lot of people sell these picks for thousands of dollars. And I'm giving this workout. I'm putting this work out there for $10, which is like chump change compared to the money that you can make from these picks. Today we had the Chiefs to cover the spread. They were 11-point favorites. They won by four. Well, they won by 16 points. And we also took the Packers. I stood away from the spread and I just told the Patreon to pick the Packers to win straight up, and they won by 14 points. These two picks, they can literally make you thousands of dollars depending on how much money you put on them. And it's just amazing how, whenever we get a pick wrong, like for example, when I told everybody that the Celtics was going to the NBA Finals, a lot of people troll me for that. And let me just show you guys something. If you would have took my advice and took the Celtics to play the Lakers in the finals, that video I put it out in January, right? So look, if you was to bet, because again, what I'm guessing is that not only do I have to give out the picks, but I also got to teach people how to gamble. Because a lot of people don't know how to gamble. They don't know how to use the knowledge to really make money from it. For example, this is what I did. I have a cousin that lives in Pennsylvania, right? So I don't really gamble as much now. I used to, but I stopped gambling because one is illegal here, and then two, I have to travel to New Jersey when I do want to gamble, and it's just such a headache. So I stopped gambling. Probably. I every now and then, but the last time I really gambled was during the Super Bowl when the Chiefs beat the 49ers. But what I did was I told my cousin that lives in Pennsylvania to basically, he's a Lakers fan, so this was probably like good news for him, right? I told him take the Lakers to win the series over the Portland Trailblazers, and he made money from that. Then when the Lakers played the Rockets, I told him take the Lakers to win that series, and he made money from that. Then I told him take the Lakers to beat the Denver Nuggets to win that series, and he made money from that, right? I also told him to take the Lakers to beat the Miami Heat, and he didn't place that bad because the Lakers were heavy favorites by the finals. But he made money in this series. He made money in this series. And he also made money in this series. He also made money during Game 7. And a lot of people on Patreon also made money during Game 7 because I put out the pic showing how in baseball the Colorado Rockies were playing the Los Angeles Dodgers a day after Game 7 of the Clippers and Nuggets, right? Colorado versus LA, because in the next round it was going to be LA versus Denver, the team from Colorado. Because they did the similar thing here when the Raptors was playing the Celtics. In football, they had the Dolphins playing the Patriots, the Miami football team versus the Boston football team. And they also had the Marlins playing the Red Sox, the Miami baseball team versus the Boston baseball team. Why? Because in the next round, the Miami basketball team was going to end up playing the Boston basketball team, the Heat versus the Celtics. So we hit this one. We hit 1, 2, 3, and then we hit Game 7. So that's 3 series, and then a Game 7. Then we hit, if you would have listened to he has the Celtics going to the finals? Okay. So I'm going to take the Celtics to beat the 76ers. You would have won that. Celtics to beat the Toronto Raptors. You would have won that series. The only one you would have lost would have been this one. And I also had the Miami Heat to beat the Milwaukee Bucks. That was a big 79 riddle, right? Eric Spoelstra, the head coach of the Miami Heat, he picked up his 79th career playoff victory by beating the Bucks. Bucks is 79. Miami Heat is 79. The series started on day with 79 numerology. They're playing in a bubble in Orlando. Orlando is 79. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And this was a huge moneymaker. I mean, the odds of the Heat beating the Bucks in the beginning of the series was amazing. It was like I don't remember the exact number, but obviously they were the underdogs. This is the 1 seed playing the 5 seed. The Milwaukee Bucks were the favorites to represent the Eastern Conference. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 7 series correct. And then we had a Game 7, which was, the Clippers were 10-point favorites in this game. And we had the Denver Nuggets to defeat the Clippers that game. So that's 7 series, and we would have got 1 wrong. So even though the Celtics didn't make the Eastern Conference, didn't make the finals, you still could have made a lot of money from the information that I gave out. Instead of trolling me, you guys should be thanking me. Because I gave you basically I was one series off from who's going to play in the NBA Finals. We had the Lakers. They won 3 series. We had the Celtics. That was incorrect, but they still won 2 series during the playoffs. So there's no reason why people didn't make money in these playoffs. Because we was right on track. The only bump we had was here. And the Celtics still won 2 games. We was real close. And I'm still wondering what happened. I know a lot of people saying that we just got it wrong, but again, the Celtics had an unbelievable narrative. A lot of you agreed until the Celtics lost. A lot of you flip-flopped. Oh, Miami Heat had a better narrative. No, not really. Before the series started, you guys all know that the Celtics had an unbelievable narrative. There was so many things connecting the Celtics to the finals. So think about that. All these series you would have won if you would have known how to bet. Instead of just picking the Celtics to reach the finals. I mean, that's a dumb way to bet. Yes, it pays a lot because if we are right, then you guys make a whole bunch of money. But there's also other ways to make your money back. Always go for the insurance. You don't have to take the team to win day-to-day games. You can take them to win a series. That pays a lot of money, especially in situations like this one, when the Bucks are playing the Miami Heat. You take the Heat to beat the Bucks in the series. You make a ton of money. So the Falcons today played the Green Bay Packers. This was I don't like saying the word lock, but it really was a lock. I mean, the Packers improved to 4-0 over the Atlanta Falcons. So look at this, right? So the Green Bay Packers head coach, he came into this game 16-3. So by beating the Falcons, he became 17-3 for his career. And 173 is the 40th prime number. Atlanta Falcons is 40. Green Bay is 40. And then the Green Bay Packers became 4-0 for the season. Now the Falcons head coach, Dan Quinn, he picked up his 41st career playoff loss versus Green Bay. Green Bay is 41. Right? Rodgers, his surname sums to 41. Rodgers also sums to 40 in gematria. So this was like the closest thing to a lock, really. Now this game here, the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Patriots. You know, the reason I took the Chiefs to cover, it was a large spread. It was 11-point spread. It's because it's a website called oddshark.com, and they show you the ATS record. I think this is the only site that shows you the team's ATS record, which means against the spread. Kansas City was 2-1 coming into this game, and by beating the Patriots, they improved to 3-1, and Chiefs and gematria sums at 31. You know, I expected Chiefs to start the season 5-0 because Chiefs is 5-0, Kansas City is 5-0. Well, Kansas City is 50, Chiefs is 50. They can start the season 5-0. If I'm not mistaken, I think they started the season 5-0 last season as well. And you know, that 50, it reminds me of Brady, right? Because Brady sums to 50. So I'm wondering if them starting the season 5-0 means that they're gonna play Tom Brady in the Super Bowl this year. Because Kansas City Chiefs does equal 64. If Tom Brady does play the Chiefs, he can fall to 6-4 all time in the Super Bowl. So, you know, I'm not giving out that as a pick yet, but that's something that I'm looking at. You know, like I said yesterday in the video that I did on the two baseball players that passed away. The championship videos from now on are only gonna go up on Patreon. A lot of you will not know who I have to play in the championship game, because those picks I'm gonna put it up on Patreon only. I'm done putting up picks on YouTube because I don't know who's watching these videos, and you know, again, this stuff. It's a lot of work, you know, and a lot of you just watch the video, go to the casino, place a bet, and benefit from the information, and don't put back in. That's over with, you know. If you guys want to support, it's real easy. You just sign up for Patreon. It's not even a lot of money. It's not like I'm charging a whole bunch of money. I mean, if you look at other handicappers, they're charging a whole bunch of money for sports picks. The reason I have it so low is so you guys can afford it. Because, I mean, that's what this is about. It's about building a movement. And we've been somewhat successful, but it just, the trolls, they love to tarnish our growth, you know. And it's like, man, if you guys just, I don't feel like teaching people how to gamble. I mean, I think you should know how to gamble. Use your money wisely. A lot of people invested in the Boston Celtics because a lot of you knew that a lot of the stuff that I was putting out made a lot of sense. So there was no reason for all the disrespect. I don't understand it. This is hard work, and most of you can agree with that. And just look at our track record. We've been successful in most of the championship games that we've called in the past. From the Raptors to the Nationals to the Chiefs beating the 49ers. So we have an unbelievable track record. And, you know, this season, even though we was wrong, because I admit it, I was wrong about the Celtics. The Miami Heat went to the finals. Even though we was wrong, there was still a lot of money to be made. Because the Lakers, I mean, if I give out two picks, right, I say the Lakers are going to play the Celtics, and one of the two teams go, a lot of people say, well, everybody knew that the Lakers was going to go. Really? So why was the Los Angeles Clippers the favorite all the way till Game 7 of this series? The Lakers was underdogs until the Clippers lost. A lot of my friends had the Clippers to represent the Western Conference. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 series you would have got correct. Actually 7, but you would have never made a lot of money with the Lakers versus Heat because the Lakers are heavy favorites to beat the Miami Heat. And they're probably going to beat them in 5 games. And look at the mocking, right? They won the first round 4-1, the second round 4-1, the third round 4-1. They can win the finals 4-1 the year that Kobe Bryant died at the age of 41. King is 41. And if that happens, the Lakers become 16-4 in the playoffs. Miami Heat is 164. And people still debate whether the NBA is rigged. I mean, what are the odds that the year that Kobe Bryant dies, the Lakers win every single round 4-1, like 41, like how Kobe died at 41. And then, the other day, LeBron James, during Game 2, he scores the 81st point of the game for the Lakers with 8:24 left on the clock. And then this writer here, he decides to put out this article calling it, it says, coincidence or not, LeBron scores Lakers' 81st point at the 8:24 mark in Game 2. Coincidence or not? Absolutely not a coincidence. And then he puts, look at the first sentence that he writes. He says, all this time, the late NBA legend Kobe Bryant has been silently watching and guiding the Lakers up from above. I mean, what does that even mean? I know what it means. It means that probably Kobe Bryant is in the stadium watching the game. Because they love putting the truth right in people's face. A lot of the sleepers are gonna say, no, he means that Kobe's in heaven looking down on the Lakers. Yeah. Yeah, when people die, they watch basketball. That's what they do when they die, right? Oh my goodness. So I just want to say congratulations to the people that won, the people who continue to support, the people that they stay with the movement despite the bumpy roads. Because again, I don't know what you guys want from me. You guys want me to be 100% correct on that's impossible. It's like I could hit 4 parlays in a week and they'd be like, oh, why you didn't go 5 out of 7? You only hit 4 parlays. What? I know people that go a whole year without hitting a parlay. And I'm not just picking a team to win. I'm picking them to cover because of the knowledge. ATS. These games are also rigged around the ATS record. Chiefs improves to 3-1 ATS. Chiefs is 31. This is the only reason I'm able to call these games is because of the knowledge. So I'm thankful for the knowledge. But, just know that I know people that they struggle to put a parlay together. And we are doing it at a rapid pace. If you look don't take my word for it. Go on Patreon and see. During the month of September, I got to be honest, I had a bad month during September. Probably because I was so focused on the Celtics that I really didn't want to see any other narrative for any other team. Because, there was a lot of games that I just felt like the Heat might win. But I was just so stuck with the Celtics narrative. And if I would have just looked at the possibility of the Miami Heat, I probably would have came across Pat Riley's the Pat Riley riddle. But I doubt it. Because even if I would have had both riddles on the table, I still would have went with the Celtics. So I don't regret anything. I just learned from my mistakes. But those of you who are interested in joining the Patreon, just know that I'm not gonna go perfect all 7 days a week. But the best thing to do is to communicate with me and to invest on just be smart with your money. Invest it in a smart way. Don't take $4,000 and put it on the pick, and then you lose your money and then you get mad at me. Communicate with me. Say, simple truth, is this a game that's worth me investing $4,000? And I'll say, you know what? I'd rather you invest your money next week. Hold on to that money for next week. because these riddles are shaky. They're double coded because a lot of these games are double coded. They could go either way, like how the Miami Heat and Celtics series was. It was double coded. It could have went either way. The Celtics still had a narrative to become 12-6 in the playoffs. That infamous Kobe Bryant number, he died on 126. So a lot of you, bashing me for that. I mean, hey, go right ahead. I don't regret giving out the Celtics. They had a great narrative. They had a lot of ritual deaths that connected them to the NBA Finals, and even though it didn't play, I don't regret picking the Celtics. I feel like the Celtics had an unbelievable narrative, and a lot of the viewers also agree with me. So it is what it is. Before we end it, if you guys want to just, I don't know, if you guys have anything to say, you can call up 646-986-0958. I haven't been doing that much live streams lately. But if there's anything you guys want to speak about, I mean, don't ask me about any championship games because I won't be discussing that on YouTube. But that's all I have. And anybody that's watching this for the first time and think that this is just kooky or something, or whatever, these games are rigged. A lot of you will spend all this money watching these games and investing in jerseys and buying popcorn and going to these and buying tickets. These games are all rigged. Every single game, football to basketball to baseball. I mean, look at the baseball scores today. I mean, they love to mock us. I mean, the Astros today, they won 10-5 on October 5th. The score was 10-5. And then the Yankees defeated the Tampa Bay Rays. The score 9-3. 3-9. New York is 39. I mean, I'm telling you, like, this stuff, once you learn the code, you're going to see, like, oh, look at that. New York wins the game 3-9. And then on October 5th, they win with a score of 10-5. The Astros do. I mean, what a mocking. I stood away from the baseball because well, I'm not gonna say it. I'll discuss it on Patreon. So, but if anybody wants to call up, the number is 646-986-0958. Thanks a lot, Nikki, for posting it. There's nothing else that I saw in the headlines that I need to discuss. Everything else is pretty much Donald Trump and his coronavirus, and then he takes off the mask. What a joke this guy is. Oh my God, he gets coronavirus. Meanwhile, he wears a mask every single day now. Oh my gosh. Oh, he can't breathe. Yeah, I don't see much to another coronavirus victim, Cam Newton. But yeah, so October 6th, I do expect some Black Lives Matter propaganda. The day was 56 numerology. Black Lives Matter is 56 and 106. So I might come on later tonight and be talking about some Black Lives Matter propaganda on 10-6. Exactly. He's outside alone in his balcony, no reason to wear a mask. And he already has coronavirus. What is he wearing a mask for? But you guys take care and have a great rest of your night. Thank you for joining us today.